the maps showing the sewer line, where all it goes? Well, remember it was a brown line?
Yeah. I don't have them with me, but.
No,
yeah, definitely have.
maybe get that one down here sometime, we'll hang it up here with the rest of these.
Okay,
I gotta update some of these.
yeah. No, we have them.
I have a one of everything that's been preserved, that I wanna bring down. Can't believe it's the 19th already.
I can't either, it's going very fast.
It's a sign of getting old. 2 minutes, who's counting?
Right.
I guess you're in the hot seat until we,
Yeah, probably. Till we reorganize? Till we reorganize?
or become more disorganized, whichever.
No, there's no flag on this one.
Okay.
There's no flag on this one.
Nope.
Yep, so I'll call the January 19th Robeson Township Municipal Authority meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Roll call, we're all here, except for, Tom, who's not gonna be here.
Yeah, I saw him yesterday, I reminded him that the meeting was tonight, and he said, that's nice.
Well, there's an open seat that's gonna have to be filled.
All right, now we got reorganization.
I'll make a motion, we appoint Joan as temporary chair.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, we'll start with nominations for chair for 2026. Do I have any nominations for chair?
I'll make a motion for Harold.
I'll second.
Okay, are there any other nominations? Do we need a motion to close the nominations then?
I'll make a motion to close the nomination.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then a motion to appoint Harold Steve as chairman for 2026.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so Harold, you are now chair, congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you want me to continue it, or do you want to take over?
Yeah, I mean, I can take over from here.
Okay, why don't you take over from here? As vice chair.
Okay, any nominations for vice chair? I'll nominate Chris. He did such a job over the years.
Second.
It was seconded.
Okay, seconded, all right, any discussion?
Yep, now, I'm sorry, I dropped the ball on that.
Okay,
Okay, all those in favor, any more nominations?
okay, nominations are closed then.
And, all those in favor of appointing Chris as vice chair, say yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay. Treasurer. Anyone want the dubious pleasure of being appointed as treasurer?
I'll take it again.
You're gonna do it again? Thank you, Pat.
Sure, if I'm nominated.
I'll make that nomination.
Well, I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
Okay. Assistant treasurer? I think we'll probably
Yeah.
appoint whoever becomes the
Yeah, 'cause he can't,
fiscal person.
right, you can, right?
I can't be
Yeah,
treasurer.
he can't do it. So we'll appoint whoever is gonna be the fiscal person when we
Okay,
get somebody to.
that's fine, so there's no need for an assistant treasurer, you need a chair, vice chair, secretary, and a treasurer, so the next office will be treasurer. And then
Oh.
secretary.
Okay, nominations for secretary.
Nominate
Looks like
myself,
you're-
I guess.
Well, it looks like you're,
Are you gonna do it?
Yeah, I'll nominate myself.
Oh, good, if you could start taking notes.
You have a pen?
Okay, nominee is Anthony.
He needs a pen.
The assistant, maybe?
Over there in the drawer, behind door number 2.
I guess I'll second.
All right, who made that motion?
He did. He made it for himself.
Oh, okay.
Was there any other choice? 'Cause
Oh,
I'm
that's-
not really good at taking notes, but
Do you second that?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor of appointing?
Aye.
Aye. He just needs a
Aye.
pen.
Aye.
Okay. Let's take care of that business real quick. I think I've been doing these minutes for 10 years.
yeah, you seem awfully happy to, hand over the pen.
I'll shoot you a template tonight. Okay. Assistant secretary, I don't know that we really need one.
No, you don't need one, and you can always, name the financial person who comes in as assistant secretary in addition to the assistant treasurer.
I don't know why they have open records up here, because according to the, all the paperwork, the secretary is the open records officer.
I
But-
would have a motion appointing the secretary as the open records officer, just so you have it. And you can
Okay.
put it on the website.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Anthony, you're now the open record officer.
Yeah, if you get any requests, just call me. If they're not
Okay, yeah.
simple.
Open record deputy officer, once again, when we start filling positions at the office, they can start filling some of these in.
Yeah.
RTMA solicitor, do we have any nominations?
I'll nominate Joan.
Okay,
I'll second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, all in favor. RTMA engineer. We have anybody interested? Okay, I'll nominate, SDE or Keith Showalter.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, SDE is now our township engineer. RTMA auditor. So the auditor, when they solicited bids last year, they made a 3-year deal.
Mhm.
So it would be Zelensky Axelrod is the auditor.
Okay, they're already under a 3-year appointment.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no need to take any action.
Should we do it just to say we did it?
Yeah, I would, why don't you have a motion, confirming the appointment of, Zelensky Axelrod for the remainder of the contract term.
Okay,
For 2026.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that takes care of the first round of business. All right, now a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December the 15th.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, correspondence. Ethics forms are in there. Make sure we fill them out as best you can, get them back. They're confusing, and I don't care how much you fill them out, you'll still get something wrong. Okay, I don't think there's a treasury report in here. There is a sewer aging report. And we're gonna have to get some lessons on how to read these sewer aging reports. And I did ask him for a different version of this. I think it's in everybody's packet. So here you can see, there's one here, it's $1,000 delinquent. So I'm thinking that's one we should be turning over to get liened. There's another one, Walmsley, $798. Here is Urate, $411. That Joy Bell, that property was sold. I don't know why that keeps appearing there unless the county has not turned over the money. There's
Well,
a,
last time, remember we made that motion that,
yes, automatically lead them.
yeah,
Yeah,
so some of these should just automatically go.
that, so, you're right, they should automatically go here. Here's another one, 601. And I guess we need to check with the township and see who they want to do the leaning, whether they wanna continue to do it or, they wanna task us with it.
Right, yeah, just let me know, and I can, if they want the township to continue, I'll transfer those files over to Attorney Merle's office.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few on here. Holy moly. Yeah, I'm just circling all the ones I spot. All right, there is no treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to accept the sewer agent report.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Citizens concerned?
Oh, yeah. Hi, so, my name is Chris Phillips. I met you a couple months ago. I came in here, representing the representative at that time. His name over here in Flying Hills. But, and this has to do with the Green Hills, sewer project. I represent the Green Hills Lake Recreational Association. This time I'm here is a little bit different. This time, what happened was I came here, when I came here, I asked questions, and then the representative, I contacted the board. I don't know who they talked to, might have been your office. And again, this is hearsay, I don't know exactly what was said, but the general point was that the representative was told that the municipal authority was confused why we had contacted the representative and why we had contacted DEP about the project. So he asked if I could come and explain that, and that's really all we've really tried to do over the last couple of months is get a quorum with you guys to talk to you about this. So, again, thanks for letting me come and talking to you, and I wanna do is just kind of clear up the confusion. From our perspective, what's happened over the last couple of years on this project and why we ended up, going to the state rep. So again, my name's Christopher Phillips. I'm actually a PLS. I've been licensed in the state for 30 years. I also have 16 years in acquisition and with the federal and state governments, with U.S. Coast Guard and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and PennDOT doing public acquisitions, probably well over 1,000 public acquisitions and probably 100 condemnations over that time. So I'm basically an expert in this kind of stuff. So when you know, we were contacted, about I'll back up a little bit. I'm an elected, director with the board. I've just started my 6th year on the board of directors
For the Green Hills Lake Association.
for the Green Hills Lake Recreational Association.
Okay, Green Hills, okay.
Yes, so I'm on the board of directors, and like I said, I just started my 6th consecutive term with them. So when this, our first contact was a little over 2 years ago, we received a letter from the engineering's office actually requesting requesting that they wanted to come in and do some surveying on the property. I handle all of the associations, anything to do with real property. Again, that's what I serve as a real property specialist, real negotiator, pretty much everything in the real property world. So when they contacted us for that letter, that was our first contact, and I went back and forth with the engineering's office, actually the surveyor there. We probably went back and forth 2 or 3 times. We exchanged information. I sent him over plans for the lake to help him with the surveying, et cetera. You know, when that was completed, that communication kind of ended. We really didn't hear anything. And then a couple months after that, the next contact was a letter. I don't recall who exactly it was from, but I guess you were applying for some grants with and there was a request by us as a possible aggrieved party that we would sign off on those grants. At that time, I tried contacting the attorney's office twice. I never got any response, so it kind of just, that was the end of that. Then over the last year and a half, we really haven't had any communication. In October, the end of this last October, we received a letter from the attorney's office again, requesting that we transfer over about 100,000 square foot of property, along with a sketch, a large-scale sketch of a sewer project.
I think you're
And
talking
so
about,
that's why
I think you're talking about an easement
the
agreement.
easement, correct,
which
so
is-
the easement, so at that time, we hadn't got any communication, we hadn't been contacted, there was no show of good faith. So I said, you know what, we've got to at least be heard here, we can't just be ignored, our rights just can't be ignored, so that's why I contacted the rep and DEP about it. And so I'm sure you guys can all understand, if you just had something thrown in your laps a year and a half, 2 years after an initial letter, that you would be upset and want to know, you know, why we're being ignored. And so that's where the confusion, I guess, is.
And what we sent you was not looking to acquire
You were
property,
acquiring an easement, which is
easement.
real property.
Right, an easement,
It's real
but not-
property, ma'am, it
Oh,
doesn't
sure,
matter.
of course
If
it's
you
an
go into
interesting
someone's
property.
house and take a teacup, you gotta pay for it.
No, and what I'm
Yes, you
saying
do.
is that we're not looking to acquire in fee simple.
Okay,
I
well, that's
agree with
not
the
the
interest in
point.
land.
The point is, that we've got no contact about this, we know nothing about the project. The
Okay,
current
so-
layout, go ahead,
So this project has been going on for probably 30 years,
okay,
and it goes on, it goes off, it goes on and off, but the whole thing was triggered by that development that went in up there.
okay,
All right, so DEP come in, I guess when they were gonna build the Green Hills, well, it wasn't Green Hills Estates, it was, well, anyway, over there where the
Villages of Green Hills.
Village of Green
Yeah.
Hills.
yeah,
So they were gonna run the line from there all the way down here. And subsequently, they went and did, in order to make sure that they were allowed to do it, they did all kinds of testing and everything, and how many wells in that area were bad. And, you know, so make a long story short, a DEP come back and said, hey, listen, you have 5 years from the time that sewer plant goes online to hook up the Green Hills Lake Place area.
okay,
So it kind of has been in flux the whole time, you know, because, well, there was one point where we thought they would never build up there. And we were kind of just like sitting back waiting to see what was gonna happen. But in the meanwhile, we kept on applying for grants to try and run the line up there, because that isn't gonna be the most cost-effective thing for the people at the Green Hills Lake area, is a line being run up there.
just running a line straight from down
From the
to-
sewer plant
down to
straight up.
Gilbertsville,
Yeah.
straight down,
So that's the most cost-effective, way for us to do anything. So, like I said, we keep going back and forth. That plant, as I understand, still is not online,
That's correct.
although it was supposed to be online beginning of summer.
Yeah, like they were saying like
Yeah.
August, September.
I understand you guys, and then people come and go, and we've dealt with people up there for years on this very topic, and they should be well versed in where we're at with this, but, people come and go and don't always transfer the information. So I understand why, if I just walked in and all of a sudden I'm hit with something and say, what is this? At the end of the day, we're trying to make it most cost effective as we possibly can for the residents of the lake.
Okay.
And, going through a lot of legalese, it just adds cost to all that. And we wanna do it right. And we're just asking for running the line through what was, in essence, a private street right now.
Right.
I mean,
That's what I got from the gist of the plan. The problem is there's a process that you have to go through to do this. I mean, can I ask you, what was the last project you did a condemnation for?
I've sat on boards of view, I do work for the redevelopment authority
Okay,
and.
what was the
regular
actual
filing.
last one you did condemnation for?
I've done, condemnations for the redevelopment authority and I do them
What kind of condemnation
regularly.
was it?
Fee simple condemnations
For what?
for projects for the redevelopment authority.
Okay, but what kind of project was it?
It involved land acquisition and fee simple, again, redevelopment, projects, one in
So-
Wood, for example, worked on one in
our
Birdsboro.
goal here is not to go that route. Our
I
goal
understand.
here is to have everybody cooperate
Mine
because
isn't either, and
And,
I don't necessarily.
at the end of the day, to go through that whole process ends up costing the end user.
Okay, well, see, here's the thing, and this is what you have to understand, is that I don't necessarily have an issue with the project either. It's just that we've got no communication, we've got no input towards the design. I will say right off the bat, that the design I saw on paper, there's just no way that's gonna work, okay? And there's no way that would ever make it through condemnation, the way that it's set up right now. We should have been contacted at the very beginning, and we could have maybe come up with a way to do this.
So
But we were never contacted
Can I ask
Why-
about any of this.
why wouldn't it
What do you
work?
mean specifically? You're saying, you're looking at the plan, what is the part of the plan that you feel
Well,
is failing?
here's the thing, you're talking about, if you do go to condemnation on this, and I'm sure she
Yeah, 'cause
knows
we're-
this, is that you'd end up with 47 defendants. I, for example, live on the other side of the lake. This is a huge liability issue for me, a huge cost issue for me, and even a possibility loss of land value issue for me by granting this easement on the other side of the lake.
Well,
There's-
if we're looking to use private streets, how are you losing any, because you don't really own that street per se.
Yes, we do.
The association might own it,
Yes, but
and
we
then,
all own
and
it.
they only
We all
own it,
Tony, so-
they only own the part that they've claimed and maintained. Now, we have, somebody else has bought a good bit of those streets.
No, you're talking about the other side over on, that little tiny strip over off of Seton Road. That's nothing to do with
No.
this.
The part that parallels 568. What does he have, maybe half a mile of it?
Yeah, Mr. Archicola, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's not what
he
we're
actually
talking
bought,
about.
he actually owns
I
that.
understand that, but you're
You
talking,
kind of
look, I
question
didn't
it.
really wanna get into an argument here. All I'm trying to do
No, I'm just trying to
is
understand.
to have you guys, respect our rights and to communicate with us and go through this and hopefully we can work out some way to do this. But, to try to just bulldoze us and not communicate with us. And I don't really, I've been on the board 6 years, sir, so it's the first time I've got any information about this, and everything that goes through the board goes through me.
If I
So I don't
recall-
know, so anything you're talking about is at best rumors and hearsay.
Well, no, actually, if I recall, when we sent those letters out, we specifically invited the board to the meeting. It wasn't like we were just
What letter are
ignoring
you
it.
talking
When we showed that, we sent the letter out looking for the, easements, and there was another letter we sent out.
Yeah, and,
And we specifically asked you guys to come. Now, these are public meetings, you can come to them all
I
the time,
understand
every
that,
month.
but we had also, I tried contacting you about that, and no one returned my calls.
You've called the
So-
township?
I have called mostly the attorney's office and the engineering's office, because that's who the letters came from.
Yeah, I think you and I spoke on the phone once.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I think we spoke on the phone once.
Yes, so, but we've never got anything, you know, with any kind of, like I said, we've just not been involved in this. And all I'm asking is that we start on this process like it was supposed to happen in the first place. And believe me, like I said, I know this stuff, okay? I know how this process is supposed to work. And all of everything that was supposed to happen never happened, okay? And it's about having us involved from day one. We are an egregious party here. We are not getting any benefit from this, okay? So,
You are,
no, we are not.
You
How
are.
am I getting benefit from this, sir?
because you're gonna get the sewer going through there.
Not through my house. There's 47 members. Have you read the decree for our association?
I don't
How
know
it's
exactly
run?
where you live, but the residents up there are getting a benefit.
Okay, that's your opinion, but there's 16
So-
residents out of 48.
So.
So that's 1/3 of our
Let me
residents.
explain to you what happened to us in Geigertown.
Okay.
We went through a similar process out in Geigertown, and everybody fought it.
Okay,
And we had a $3 million grant and a $2 million loan at 1%. And they fought it, they turned it down.
okay,
2 days later, we were sitting here with a consent decree to build it with or without the money and condemn whatever we had to do.
okay. What's
So,
your-
so that cost them, the residents out there,
Okay.
over $500,000 to do that.
Okay,
So the benefit is to be cooperative and help us work through this process and not incur
okay,
a
so
large
that sounds like a
expense.
threat, sir.
I'm not saying that at all.
So, and I'm telling you right now, I know enough about this, that it ain't gonna fly like that.
So what you don't do is file a declaration of taking first. We did contact you by letter, we've sent
The
draft
only
easement
letter we've
agreements.
got is the easement.
Okay, but again, that is not the same as filing a declaration of
I
taking right
understand.
away. I mean,
Believe me, I understand that, but
that to me would be what you don't do, in eminent domain practice, because you are required to at least initiate a process first, which we have done, and you've always
But
been open, we've always been open to have you attend these meetings, have your board attend these meetings, and
And
answer any
again,
questions
you
about
say that,
design.
but the only time I've ever seen that was that, that letter that you said you sent, again, it's, you know, that's fine. I think maybe you sent us something a year and a half ago saying that we could attend a meeting, and that's all we've done. So like I said, all we're asking for is that, you know, we do the process correctly. I mean, you're gonna need our cooperation. This is not a simple taking like you're talking in Geigertown. It's not.
Well, no,
And-
they end up all cooperating because, you know, we went through the process,
Yeah.
but we didn't condemn anything out there.
Right.
Nothing. We had one guy actually volunteered to put the pumping station on his property.
But, you know, we need to go through the process, and that's all I'm asking is that we, you know, start over here and do it right. I'm not saying we have an issue with it, but, I mean, I would think the first thing that needs to happen is we need to get some kind of some numbers, so I can, present that to the residents of all the members, so we know what this is gonna cost them, what those 16 residents are gonna cost them, now, going forward, what maintenance is gonna be, and then, we can talk to, we can go from there about seeing whether or not, because here's the thing, I'm just gonna throw out one little thing, and I have lots of issues with this, okay? One little issue is, if you guys decide to lien all those properties, they're all not gonna pay their assessments, okay? Then me have to pay the assessment for them at the property for the lake, and we end up having to pay for everyone else on the other side.
No.
That's what happens.
If you're not hooked up, and you say
No,
you
no,
live.
no, no, I'm talking our assessments to our members.
I-
If you lien them, okay, for their installation costs, they're going to have an issue paying their assessments to us. Thus, we're gonna have a problem when it comes to collecting the money we need to maintain our property.
You're talking about the homeowners association assessment.
There is no homeowners association, but the association assessment, that's what I'm talking about.
So I just need to be straight on this. We're hooking up to individual property owners.
Correct.
Okay.
You're gonna lien those
Those
homes.
person, not necessarily.
Well, if they don't pay their hookup fees, you are,
No, though, it's not gonna work that way, and it hasn't worked that way.
okay? That's what I don't know, see, I'm going by my experience, and I've done 2 of these projects, by the way.
Yeah.
I've
So,
done 2 of
so
these acquisition projects through DEP.
my
Where they-
experience, or what I recall, is you're required by ordinance to hook up.
Okay,
If you don't hook up, there's penalties involved.
that's what I'm talking
And you could be, eventually get forced to hook up. But that should have nothing to do with the association.
It does when they can't afford, some of them can barely afford their assessment now. And by hooking them up, you're creating a financial burden on the other 32 residents in the community. So again, it's just one thing we gotta talk about, but no one's talked to us, and that's the problem. And so it's just one more thing that we need to talk about when it comes to, what is it gonna cost these residents? How much is it gonna cost them to hook up? How much is it gonna cost them for the installation, the maintenance? I assume, that from what I saw in these plans, again, they're very large scale, so but I know the elevations out there. I assume there's pumps, some kind of a grinder pump on these things. Is that correct, sir?
Every
So-
lot will have
So
its own
every
grinder.
grinder pump's gonna have to be, maintained. They're gonna probably have to be replaced every 10 years. And so what is that cost gonna go into these residents? And whether or not you think it's a benefit to them or not, that's not your choice. That's their opinion on whether or not it's a benefit. And then I've gotta convince, again, I've gotta not only convince 16 residents, I gotta convince 48 residents that this is because they have every right, they have full right to use those roads without any liability, shut down, anything, okay? So, it's not just about convincing those 16 residents, I gotta convince 48 residents that this is an okay thing. So I need some information to
Here's
start
what,
with.
I think the best thing to do going forward, forgetting the past, going forward, get us in writing a list of the questions that the property owners and the association board have. And we'll answer what we're able to, and there may be some areas where it's too soon to provide an answer, others we would be able to.
Again, it's just those 3 things. Cost, that's all, really one thing, cost. That's really the only thing I can start with. So, I don't need to send you
Well,
an email on that.
once again, we keep applying for grants. So we couldn't tell you what the cost is gonna be until we know what the grant monies look like. And we tried to get as far ahead of this as we possibly can, because the 5-year clock hasn't started ticking yet. So if we can get everything lined up, and we can't even, I don't think we can even accept any money until we have these easements and everything. So by the process getting delayed, it's delaying the other end. So if somebody was walking the door tomorrow and say, hey, we got $3 million for you, we can't even say yeah, because we haven't finished the other part of that. So we had to do the design, which we've already paid for. That's not coming out of the resident's pocket. It was $200,000.
Roughly.
Oh, so that's already taken care of. The design was already taken care of. So it's just the installation of whatever's gonna go up through there. And like I said, we don't know what that looks like until we get an answer on some grant of some kind.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I'll tell you right now, that design's not gonna work. We have our roads, let me just tell you the big issue there, and I'm trying to be reasonable here, but this is crazy, but our roads are nothing more than driveways, okay? There's only one entrance in and out of that place, okay? There's only one way in and out, okay? So you shut that road down for a week or two to do that, you're displacing everybody in that community to get in there by shutting those roads down. There's no way to get around a person, around a vehicle there, around a construction vehicle at all. And we're not talking just layout, but we're talking, future maintenance and everything. There's just no way. And you're displacing all those residents, and you don't have anything in there, budget for displacement of residents.
So we're not there yet, but I'm here to tell you that we've done these projects before on state highways.
Again, this isn't a state highway, so this is a private road. We own this road. It's
Yeah,
not the same thing.
I got that,
State
but
highways
what I'm
are-
saying is, we need to allow access for the state highways.
Yeah.
We do that, so, if we can do it for the state highway, we certainly can do it for a private road.
Okay, well, you tell me how, because, again, we haven't been communicated on any of this. You show me how you're gonna get residents to their homes, how you're gonna get ambulances to their houses, how you're gonna get fire trucks to their houses.
Well, again,
What-
I think Joan has a good point. What you're saying, if you can put it in correspondence, that we have it in our correspondence,
Yeah,
then we
I
can
mean-
answer. You're asking me a question. the
I'm not
engineer's
asking
gonna
him
have
a
to answer.
question.
But you
Okay.
just listed off a bunch of questions. And most of those questions are something an engineer, when we go to put it in, how are they going to actually do it? We'll have a plan. If there is no plan, neither PennDOT nor DEP will approve that plan for installing that main. And it's a sewer main we're gonna be putting in. Again, he wasn't threatening you, but I have seen this over and over. When the state finally comes in and says, these people need to be hooked up to a sewer, and a consent decree comes down, it comes down and that's it. And then it is eminent domain. Right now, we're just asking for the easement to see if we can build the project. Again, if there's legal problems and there's people who say no, then there's more steps we have to go through. But the first step is to send out the letter and ask. And again, you're saying there's gonna be a problem, that's good for us to know. We don't have a problem with it, we just need to know that there's opposition.
Okay, well, again, I'm not saying there's opposition. I'm saying that we need to start and, first thing is get some cost to us. So I can sit down with the members and talk to them, and we can go from there.
But as a board, we can't function with individual negotiation. You have to present it in correspondence, and then we have to deal with it as a
Absolutely, you
board.
haven't done that to us.
I-
Show no
please.
good faith.
Again,
You
she's
you
saying
have
going
received a
forward,
letter,
send us the
One
correspondence.
letter, sir.
and you
No-
responded it to how?
What's that?
You responded it to that letter how? You've sent us a letter back saying what?
I did not send you a letter back because I hadn't got any responses in the past to anything. We've got no information about this project, other than a request to give you real property. That's all we've got.
And
Without
you-
any
and-
supporting
And
documentation.
the board responded to that how?
The board, what do you mean? That's the only
We sent the
request I
letter
got
to the
from you.
board requesting the easement,
Yeah,
right, and the board has responded back to us, nothing. You
Yeah,
have come
because
back,
it's not a proper request.
what would you
And
call it?
we would like you to, we're here right now, everything's being recorded, as you can see,
That's
so
fine,
there's a record of this. We would like you to send a letter to the board outlining your exact questions, those of your residents, those of your board, and we will do our best as a board, the engineer, myself as a solicitor, to answer those questions. But if you could put them in writing, we'll respond as best we can. It may not be to every question, we may not be
Again,
able to.
it's gonna be
but-
one question, I'll tell you that, because I'm not gonna get into the whole thing. I wanna do it the right way, so it's gonna be one question, and that's what the cost is gonna be. So
Which we already showed you, we don't know.
Okay, well, then that's what you need to, you can
But a
respond
letter,
with.
a letter of support for the project to the people issuing the grants would have been helpful.
I'm sorry?
A letter from the board to the people issuing the grants would have been helpful.
I would've, well, here's the thing. Again, you're asking us to give up rights to do that. You're asking us to, just listen to me, I know this stuff, okay? You're asking us to state that we were gonna negotiate, in, what's it called? In good faith. We have no obligation by law to do that. You guys have an obligation to do that. We don't. So, we had no information about the project, and you're asking us to give up a right without knowing what we were giving up. That's why we didn't respond.
I can tell you
You
that.
understand why?
I understand this. Several board members in the past have been here, have engaged us in these conversations, fully knew what was going on.
Again,
And, you know, and everybody got their questions asked as they hear at the meetings. But you seem to not want to accept the fact that we are trying to help you guys put this sewer line through. By the way, I believe it's almost all directionally bored. So the street will be open very
That's the
little.
intent.
Right,
So with
underneath,
very little openings in the
right,
street.
and underneath the surface, not interfering with the use of the street. When you give an easement, all you're doing is saying you're not going to obstruct the easement. It doesn't interfere with the street. Everybody has easements on their property for
Sir,
utilities.
ma'am, I know.
And you know that, and it doesn't interfere with your use of the property. There's maybe certain areas where you don't block the easement, and that's it. The
And then-
property remains yours.
Is, you know, what is the association that you're representing here?
Mhm.
Are they, can you give us a list of who they are and how many there are?
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
Contact.
Well, if you are not in acceptance of this project, if you could give us a list of the residents who are against it.
Again, I never said we weren't acceptance of the project. We don't know enough about it. All I'm saying is the project, I mean, I don't necessarily think that it's a bad project. It just needs to work so it functions, that's all. And we just don't know enough about it to make that decision at this point. And so, so again, I will send you a letter. I mean, I'm representing the association. And, you know, we'll go from there, you know, that's fine. I hope that, you know, when I talk to the state rep and DEP, I hope that, you know, you guys will, you know, start to, you know, recognize our, you know, our rights here and going forward, that's all I'm asking,
Well,
so.
you know, as far as this board's concerned, if we weren't obligated by DEP to do this project, we wouldn't be doing it.
I had heard that rumor that you didn't really want it to happen, so I didn't know if that's why you were just kind of railroading us and not
We're
ignoring
not
us.
railroading
because
anyone.
You didn't really wanna, you know, deal with it, because you didn't really want the project.
We have
either,
no attempt to railroad anyone.
So,
And we're here, I mean, just so you know, so we've sent out the letter. This is what, if your board does not want to agree, come and tell us, and then that guides our path as to what we can and can't do. If, you know, if you later find out, you know, through the information you get that you agree, then, you know, we'll send letters and everything, but we have to continue, we have to proceed, because we're under a mandate, so that's why we're doing what we're doing.
All right, let's move off of that. You done?
yeah, that's
Okay.
fine, yeah. And who do I send the letter to, by the way, because the only contact I have, you do have I put my email on there, by the way, and my phone number,
You
so.
can send it to the RTMA at the,
8 Boomtown Road.
yeah, 8 Boontown Road
Okay.
in Birdsville.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, let her prepare the chapter 94 report.
Yeah, it's just, I can cover it under our report too, but I provided a letter proposal. We always do 2 reports, one for the Green Hills Management Corporation, and then also one for the plant down here. So this year, I just felt it best just to put not to exceed cost on those, so it's clear within your budget or whatever. $1,000 for the Green Hills report and $5,000 for the plant report, so not to exceed $6,000 for both reports. So
All right,
I
so-
asked for a motion and then just not to exceed cost on that.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the writing of the chapter 94 reports, not to exceed $6,000.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Newcastle insurance claim. I guess we ought to have a motion to authorize someone to sign the general release here. Do you want to take a look at this, Jen?
Sure.
Newcastle Insurance?
This is when we had
It's
the
The
blockage
the
down
rocks
here.
and-
Nursery kind of thing.
Yeah, they busted off
In
the
there.
vent
Well,
pipe
not quite
and filled it
sure
up
it's
with
supposed to
stone,
be, yeah.
river stone.
It's in
Then
the-
John and his guys had to go clean it up and pump it
Several
out
times.
Yeah,
multiple
well,
times.
the first time we came out, we didn't know what we were up against, so we had a small jetter, you know, cause I didn't know it was filled with giant rocks.
We
The
didn't know
small
what it
jetter,
was at
the
that
small
time.
jetter
We thought it
couldn't
was
get
rags
through
or
it,
something.
so there was a charge for that. Then they came back with a medium jetter, and that couldn't get through it. And then we found out that it was rocks, then we got the big jetter, and we were finally able to get it out, but we had pushed some rocks to the
Down the
next
system.
section. So then we had to go to the next section and clean that one out, so it was,
They were like 3-inch rocks,
what's that?
like 3-inch rocks.
Oh, some of them were even bigger, Harold. I mean, some of them were,
It's that river rock.
yeah, it was like big river rock, like the up to 5-inch pieces. I mean, we're lucky we were able to get it all out because
So
we could have had to dig that.
Basically, as I understand it, is Newcastle put in an insurance claim, that's what Jones reviewing,
Yeah,
but this would make us whole, you know,
Right, this is
all
the-
those
yeah.
costs that were incurred.
the amount of 24,646.83.
I think that's what came from my office, yes.
Okay, are there any other costs that we're aware of?
Not that we're aware of.
Should be
No,
everything
that
else.
should be everything.
And are you satisfied that, there's no, unknown damage,
We did have it televised
Okay.
and we should be good.
Okay, because that's the only concern I have looking out of this, is that it releases all claims, known, unknown, foreseen, unforeseen.
And they repaired that,
Standards may
clean
not
out.
develop.
They did
That was
repair the clean out.
sheared off.
Okay, and there, and, I mean,
I just hope they got we didn't touch their lateral.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
So,
That's theirs.
that's on those.
yeah, but their lateral also brought the rock into our main.
Yeah.
So if there's any remaining rock in their lateral, that I don't know.
So there was no other property damage than what we had here?
Correct.
Okay, and there were no personal injuries, because that's some of the language deals with that, there were no personal injuries with no additional
Just my
property
mental
damage.
anguish.
And, yeah, no admission of liability. I mean, this is straightforward. It's already been signed, by Chairman Bittler on behalf of the township, so I would recommend the authority, chair sign.
All right,
I make a motion.
Pat,
Yeah.
motion for who to sign it?
Authority chair, you.
No, me, okay.
All right, I'll second.
Yeah, since Chairman of the Board of Supervisors signed.
All right, all those in favor of having the chairman authorized to sign this, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, that leads us down to
Me.
you.
Okay. So, December was a pretty decently quiet month down at the plant. Flows, normal range, plant's running normally. We did have some maintenance on the boiler. I had reached out to Harold. The boiler needed a new recirc pump. And Harold gave me I guess he reached out to everybody.
We
got the
should
green
reaffirm
light
that.
for that. So that'll be coming up. We did have one call out for power loss at pump station 2. Generally, we have a good amount of capacity in that one, so it's not like urgent. So we just went down and just verified that it was street power, and I don't know if it's Med Ed. was working there at the time, and they got us back up within a couple hours, so. We had that, we also had a couple of qualifiers on some lab results for our second set of samples for the month. It looks like they messed up our BODs, for both influent and effluent. And our monthly average was good, but they did have a high fecal on that, and we're thinking that we either had contamination at the lab, or contamination during collection, because our chlorine residuals were good. So our monthly average was good, our instantaneous max was just high. So I always kind of look at that as just a secondary, but we're, on the EDMR, we're putting down just potential contamination, because everything else was good, and we had a bunch of qualifiers, from the lab for that week, so. Other than that, we're still alternating the pumps at Pump Station 2 by hand. That we're having just all kinds of problems with the wiring in there, in that wet well, everything is just corroded up. The panel, I don't think there's really any sense in trying to put any money into fixing it, since we have all the new stuff is there. We're
Yeah,
just
we're
kind of limping it along until we can get that new stuff in, basically. As Harold mentioned before the meeting started, we did get a couple shipments of valves in so far, for the basement project, or the pump gallery project. I think there's more stuff coming.
Yep.
So, like I said, I didn't want to take a delivery this morning just because of the conditions, but I'll reach out to them tomorrow and try to schedule something for later this week to get that third skid. And then we'll just transfer the valves manually into the C-van at this point, just to get them out of the weather.
Yeah, don't want them corroded already.
Right, yeah, nice new valves, so we'll get them in there and store them until, the pump gallery project's ready to go. That pump in the gallery, our one waste pump, still has a pretty good leak to it, but we're just checking it every day. We're checking the sump pump, just to make sure that it pumps everything out. So it is pumping, but it's leaking, pretty bad, so. I think that's all I have. If there's any questions.
Do you happen to know off the top of your head what the cost was for that pump that we,
2,000 something. I might be able to pull up the email while you guys do more of the meeting and let you know the exact.
yeah, I was trying to look through the old emails here, or text messages, and it probably was an email.
Yeah, I think I sent it in an email, Harold. I'll see if I can dig it up.
But yeah, cause I like to reaffirm that, and,
Yep. Just give me a few minutes here.
okay. What do you have,
Okay.
Joe?
Well, we already went over Green Hills Lake, so I don't, won't have any more on that. We're up to date on that. We've sent out the easements, as you know from Mr. Phillips' report.
So we haven't anything from the other people yet?
No, I have not.
I did hear from one of the recipients of those letters, and he wanted me to explain what it was I did,
Mhm.
and he said he was gonna have it signed and notarized. And actually, I think I called you
Okay,
after that conversation.
okay, yeah.
So,
I haven't seen it back in our office yet, so maybe it's just taking some time to get notarized. Well, that's good. Everyone that comes back makes it easier. The only other matter is I would like the board's authorization to resume the negotiations with the township on the lease now that the conflict no longer exists.
I guess I'll make that motion for that.
all right, do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
I will contact Attorney Marola, and that's all I have. I think there's some other items covered under the engineer's report.
Okay.
Part of your work is not going to.
Ice Jelly continues.
What'd you say?
Okay. Okay, everyone has a copy of our report on that, on the Green Hills Lake matter. Just quick updates there. We did get a letter back from Conservation District. It's going through technical review with them, so until we get their letter, we'll address whatever comments they have. We also received a letter from DEP for their review comments on the permit application that we submitted there. We have to prepare a response to it. Upon review of their comments, I don't think there's anything in there that's a major problem. Some of DEP's concerns, albeit legitimate questions, I don't think we're gonna respond to say, hey, we're gonna put in, like, plan for future service. You know, that design and the planning was for those specific homes. So I don't think that's how I was planning to address those comments. I just have to look at it.
I guess the other question is will there be any, there should be extra room
There-
to add to that, but
There's like, yeah, it's a little bit, it's a little difficult right now to say, oh, is there reserve capacity in there for other homes?
Right.
Until you're up and running and you really know the true flows,
You
I
don't
think
know.
there will be,
Yeah.
but it's hard to say now because when you plan for this, you use numbers that are relatively conservative, let me say
yeah,
that.
I mean, I didn't think the flows at Green Hills Estates would be what they are.
Right. Well, it looks more than that, but until we get it in there and really understand what's happening with the pumps and flow meters and things like that, we'll get a much better handle on it. It's a little hard to know right now, I think, with everything that's going on. I would say that we got review comments from DEP. My one thing would be, honestly, I don't know where this guy's coming from on some stuff. He said the design wouldn't work. If that design wouldn't work, my letter from DEP would have said the design's.
It's fault.
Yeah, so it didn't. So I'm not too concerned. It's just, I think his biggest thing is, you go in there with any kind of a backhoe, oh, I can't get through the road. That's not the way construction is. They're gonna allow access, they can get around. It's just a matter of working with the contractor when you get there. We are not closing the road off and detouring around that whole development.
And with directional boring,
Yeah,
you're closing off a
you're
spot
doing
from-
basically boring pits every 500, 600 feet, and those pits can be as small as 4x4 things, or they could be larger depending on what's going on with the equipment they have, but those are normally not big pits. I mean, UGI does this all the time, so. And we did this down Geigertown Road.
We didn't close Geigertown Road.
We didn't close Geigertown Road, and that was a pristine road according to Union Township. If you remember, Harold, there was a lot of
I do.
conversation. Don't destroy Nelson's Road, so we didn't. It's amazing what they can do, so it's just,
So
It's a lot of hogwash.
essentially, they want prices,
Yeah.
and we can't give them prices.
it's hard to give prices because we don't know the grants.
And they want plans, but they say they don't work, so it really is like a
It-
catch-22
it
there.
is.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so
Great.
He wants to make it that way.
He's saying on one hand that the plan will work,
Yeah.
but then he's saying he didn't see the plan.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's exactly.
Yeah, I was surprised.
It really is.
So anyway, I don't want to dwell on that per se, but anyway, that's Green Hills Lake where we are right now. Next thing, I guess I just want to go over would be Green Hills Estates itself. The Green Hills Estates treatment plant is still waiting for electric service. I think the plant is pretty much ready. It's a matter of getting Med Ed in there with the electric service. I know they've been along 568 doing stuff. Apparently, something happened with the service line they were bringing in, and now they had to reduce something on their end. That's what I heard. I don't know all the facts. So it still is up to Med Ed to get that service line into the plant. That said, the other part of this equation for that thing to be operational is to get the discharge force main from the Green Hills plant down to the Allegheny Creek, which is down 568. There was a bunch of emails exchanged over the last 2 to 3 weeks from PennDOT to the developer and to his contractor, and the township was copied on them, and township engineer was copied on them, and I got copies on. Long story short, there was a pre-construction meeting last Monday, the 12th, with PennDOT, the developer, my representative there, my field rep, Ryan Rhodes was there for the township, also engineer. PennDOT is now okay with him going ahead with this thing, but there was a bunch of squabbling going on there that PennDOT wasn't gonna let him do it, Long story short, right now the plan is that they will be doing this work most likely the beginning of February. We did receive shop drawings for the piping, the force main piping. We haven't sent out our review, but there's just a couple things that have to be addressed. We did get a certificate of insurance, which I'll forward over to Joan, that names both the authority and PennDOT as additional insureds, just so Joan will look it over to make sure we're okay on the insurance end of it. I wanna make sure this board's covered, even though he's doing work for the developer, ultimately, we take over that line.
Right.
So, and we are the permittee in PennDOT's eyes. The next thing that came up, at that pre-construction meeting and other correspondence is, this developer, as we all sit here, know that he does not appear to pay his bills promptly. He didn't pay PennDOT promptly, and he even squabbled over a lot of PennDOT inspection invoices and refused to pay them. In the end, he ended up paying them. That's why PennDOT said it's okay to go ahead now. But PennDOT wants to make it clear that on this force main installation, the permittee is this authority. The authority will be the one receiving the inspection invoices from PennDOT. Now, that doesn't mean the authority is fully responsible for those costs. The costs still fall back on the developer. With that said, we have an improvements agreement, but I don't think it went into that kind of detail with the whole PennDOT permit.
Right, because.
After consulting with Joan, Joan did provide a copy of an agreement she has for another client.
Right, I did a
that dealt with
similar
it.
agreement.
It's something we
for
might
Washington
wanna
Township.
have to protect this board. I would probably encourage it, but that would take the board, I guess, authorizing Joan to prepare such a document. The fact that the work won't start until the beginning of February gives us, 1 to 2 weeks to get this in place.
The board has the sample document that I had prepared for a similar agreement with a developer in Washington Township, where the township was being required to be the permittee on the highway occupancy permit. Now, what Keith has suggested is an escrowing of those costs because of the track record of the developer, and I agree with that.
So we would add,
Okay.
we recommend like a
What
$10,000 minimum escrow to cover these
Yeah,
PennDOT
so,
inspection costs.
I mean, the way we've been trying to work this is we would like the $10,000 escrow, but then we wanna bill him as each bill comes in. That way, we can just give him his 10,000 back at the end, and all the bills have been paid.
And that can be spelled out in
Right, the escrow will be treated as a security deposit
Okay.
as opposed to.
But we have it,
taking
because-
from the escrow.
Because what you don't want is you don't want PennDOT up your, you-know-what, saying, where's our money, where's our money?
Right, and then we're held up again, because we're being held up on this project.
Yeah. So, and then we're in the middle of that. So that's, I think Joan could draft that, I think it does take that. In addition to that, PennDOT requested that a letter be sent to them, that the authority acknowledges that we would be the one entity receiving the invoices, and that at the same time, we, SDE, is gonna have a field representative out there when this work's going on. Whenever you have PennDOT on these jobs, the inspector, they have like a time sheet, daily sheet or whatever, and then they want a representative to sign off saying, oh yeah, they were there 6 hours, they were there 8 hours. My field guy did this Harold knows, at Geigertown, when they were on Hay Creek Road down there. So we're very familiar with the process, but I have prepared the letter, I sent that to the board also, that basically outlines that, SDE would be your representative, Mike Schaefer specifically, my inspector would be the one handling that, and that we acknowledge that the inspection invoices would be coming to this authority. It's a relatively simple, straightforward letter, but we also, I set that up for the chairman to sign also, so.
Is that the one I reviewed?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
so
fine.
I would ask that the board also approves that letter, for submission to PennDOT. So I think there's kind of like two motions here needed.
There are, yeah,
All right,
different subjects.
If I have this correct, we would like a motion to have the solicitor draft an agreement with 2,000 per yeoman, and to place $10,000 in escrow for inspections for the discharge
Force main.
main.
I make that motion.
That was you.
That's me.
No, I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, motion carried. And then we want another one to authorize SDA
Yeah,
to,
we'll authorize the chairman to sign the letter
oh,
to PennDOT
okay,
acknowledging that SD would be the acting field representative and that the inspection invoices would be coming to the authority from PennDOT.
I'll make that motion.
Pat?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Find the number?
You know, Harold, no one from my office wants to be working right now. No one's getting back to me. It's driving me nuts. It's like, it's only 8 o'clock at night. What's wrong with you?
Aren't they all at meetings
kind
too?
company are you running
I
down there,
know,
John?
man. I'm
I
telling you
actually
what.
think that you sent me that email on a Sunday afternoon or something.
Well, that's because I'm working 24/7.
Well, I responded to no,
You did. You did. You got right back to me.
I voted yay.
What's that?
I think I remember this email. But you asked us to.
Rick, our director of maintenance, said it's going to be a little over 2,000, and then I said to Harold, it's going to be a little over 2,000, but I'm trying to get an exact amount, and I've emailed Rick or texted Rick, and I texted our finance lady, but no one's getting back to me.
I guess we could end up making a motion to pay for it, not to exceed
Not to exceed,
2,500.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
All right, let's go back over there and. All right, we're gonna, I'll make a motion that we reaffirm the purchase of a pump,
Research.
recirc pump, and, not to exceed, 2,500.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Sorry, Keith,
That's okay.
you had a break.
Yeah, as far as all my other things, I think that's all, we're trying to get these projects out and ready to bid. It's just we have a lot of stuff going on and catching up from the holidays, so my staff is on it. Hopefully I can provide further updates at the next meeting on that. And then we'll be working on these chapter 94 reports also. As far as the grant applications go, I think I sent out an email on it, but I can't remember everything I do sometimes. The Commonwealth Financing Authority did meet they met in November, but then they had a follow-up meeting in December. They did make grant decisions on the local share. Unfortunately, we didn't get.
And, you know, I was looking at those grants, and, you know, it just baffles me that everybody's worried about the environment and drinking clean water. But, and I'm not
What
taking
you
away
see
from
on-
recreation,
Yeah,
but bicycle trails and parks
it's
and.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, so, I mean, I would sooner have clean drinking water before I had some place
Yeah, I
to go
saw
play.
there was a lot of those kind of approvals.
And, you know, I was just like baffled by it.
Yeah, it's shocking. So the they are meeting, I believe they're scheduled to meet tomorrow, the 20th, but I'm not sure if they're gonna make decisions on the PA small water and sewer at that meeting or not, I didn't hear. So I'll just keep the board posted as those things happen, but, I mean, all we can do is keep putting in grant applications. We do get letters of support, whether we would get any help from Green Hills Lake, I don't know if that would help us, I think it's more, you know, the state reps and the senators, but still,
You know,
anything you can get, support letters help.
I mean, I think DEP would help.
DEP would help, but, yeah, I don't know if we can get it.
I mean, we did get one for Geiger Town that
Yeah.
time.
Well, we can try to push the envelope. Now, at least now, you know, what will help on DEP is that now if we can get that permit too, that'll help us. Because,
Part of the process is complete.
and they did review it relatively promptly, I will say, give them credit on that. So, I mean, it's, you know, sometimes they can sit on those things for 3 months or whatever, but we got a review within like a month. So, I think they realize that we are trying to do something there now, so.
Yeah, I forgot to mention them that we had $1 million grant and lost it because we didn't
Yeah.
have the paperwork done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of history here, a lot, as we all know, so. Anyway, that's my report, I don't know if there's any questions.
Do you want to close the road?
Down here for this bridge thing, Harold would know more about it than me.
What's that?
When are they closing the road down here, do you know?
So it was supposed to be January 1st,
That's
and
what I thought.
it's changed, but I've not gotten anything. You're required to notify us 15 days prior. I hope they'll, but, glad you brought that up. They were down there engineering the Old River Road Bridge. And it appears as though they're gonna widen it, and I think it gets elevated slightly. But the sewer line that is attached to it's going to have to be relocated. In addition, he was saying something about the pumping station, and I'm thinking, hope they're not coming near the pumping station.
Well, I think the thing with the pumping station was related to the access road. That driveway
Yeah.
is close to it. I think that's what he's,
Okay,
I think that's what, when he, it's not the pump station, it's the access drive.
okay. That's what I'm thinking, that pump
Yeah.
station's pretty far back off away from that bridge.
Yeah, because the one guy mentioned something to me
If
about.
they
the
raise
driveway.
that bridge up, well, that's like right where our manhole is that goes
Kinda
down, that's
close.
where it
Yeah.
floods right there.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
gonna make it even
Yeah, so-
worse floody, worser, thank
Well,
you.
we had talked briefly about that too, because I was trying to persuade them that that section of road from the bridge up to the aqueduct is what usually goes underwater.
That's where it goes underwater, yeah.
And he politely told me that's township problem.
Oh,
So, yeah,
bummer,
we do try.
yeah.
But in order to bring that up,
Oh, plans then.
that would take a foot at least.
You need like a foot, yeah, you need at least a foot.
That's well,
I mean, some storms, there's nothing you're gonna be able to do about it, but
I would, if we had the line up to Green Hills, I would say, oh, let's put in the grant.
Yeah.
Because that would get rid of some infiltration, but we're nowhere near that. And, let's see, invoices, we don't have, in our possession. No manager, so he has no comments. Executive session? Do we need one? No. I would like to talk to you,
You can talk to me?
yeah.
Sure.
Do we need executive, you said?
Do we need an executive?
No, I don't think so.
We probably should. Can you kill that thing for 10 minutes?
Do you, or do you want to just step out of the room? Or do, whatever,
Yeah, it's probably easier just to go out of the room like a number.
All right, yeah, okay.
We
we'll
have
do
to
that.
state the reason, don't we?
is it,
All right, 2012.
What?
yeah,
We're going-
what
yeah,
is,
we're going
what
to
is,
executive
what
session
is the
at 12.
reason? Is it a personnel matter? Is it a
We'll say possible litigation.
possible litigation? Okay.
Personnel. We don't have any employees.
Do you care if I scram, or? Hey, I wanted to ask you before you go into executive, my rate increase for maintenance rates, that got kicked up to the main township board, but I never heard back. Did that go through or no?
No, actually, I don't recall whether they did anything with it.
Okay, I just didn't know if you knew.
Yeah,
That's all.
I don't.
Okay,
We didn't approve the fee schedule, that's probably the problem.
all right, see you later.
Hey, Keith?
Do you want me in?
Okay.
Never
Oh,
noticed
we get to go into the
that bad boy.
bad boy room.
Yeah.
See you, Keith. Good night.
Hi.
Okay, back in 2022. And do we have anything else? One more thing, guys.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:22 and an oddball second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Alright.
Hope everyone had a nice Christmas and a nice New Year. See you next month.
Okay, see ya.
See you, Beth.
So can I usually use ChatGPT